are listening to the most comprehensive paranormal archive on the internet.
Welcome to Salsido Paranormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I'm covering haunted places in the U.S. As always, you can find everything related to the show at the website, and that is salsidoparanormal.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.com, and that includes all the episodes of the show, links to social media, ways to listen and ways to support the show, and friends of the show, including Jen, the Arcane Observer, who has her own channel and is the co-host of this show on Saturdays, whenever she's able to join me. And go from there. And so getting back to this series here, it's been a little while now, a couple weeks, I believe. And as far as recording goes. So a few things I always like to point out when we start these shows. How it works is I get a list of locations for each state generated. This is not a comprehensive overview of each state, and there won't be the same number of locations for each state depending on all kinds of factors. And then I include 2 articles about each location that I talk about in an episode in the episode description. So you can check those out for yourselves and do your own research and find images and all that. And part of why you should do your own research is if you're thinking of visiting the site, I recommend looking into that, making sure that seeing what the status is of the site when you hear this or when you're thinking about going to a place, because things can change, and not all locations here will always be or ever have been publicly accessible locations, and I do not recommend trespassing for any reason. So, also I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any names of people or places. Words are hard, and names can be difficult as well. So, but I think that covers everything I need to start this. And let me get to the first location here for the show. We are still in New Mexico. I think as I'm recording this show, by the end of this week, I'll be done with all the research for this series, which is really amazing. But anyway, this next location here is the old Bernalillo. I'm not sure if it's pronounced the way 2 L's are in Spanish, but county courthouse. So the old county courthouse in Albuquerque is a historic 1926 Art Deco building, now considered one of the most haunted spots in New Mexico. History. Bernalillo County was, I'm going to say it that way because I don't know how to say it, was established on January 8th, 1852 as one of seven partidos. I'm part Mexican, but don't know all the words. During Mexican rule. Okay. The county seat moved several times. Initially to Bernalillo, then to Old Town Albuquerque in 1854, to Bernalillo again in 1878, and finally back to Albuquerque in 1883. The first courthouse, 1885 to 1888, was built at West Central Avenue. The old Bernalillo courthouse, or county courthouse, that people today call old, was constructed in 1926 to 1928. That's fascinating. So it's old, but it's not the original. By architect, oh boy, I'm not sure about the first name, Charles Gastra, and contractor Robert E. McKee. Originally built with red brick, it was remodeled in 1964 with stone siding by architects Louis G. Hasselden, and A.W. Marshall. The 4-story building features cream-colored stone and concrete, marble halls, and floors, and decorative panels between windows. The courthouse served as Bernalillo County's functional government building until 2001, when a new courthouse opened on Lamas Boulevard. Since then, the old building has been used for film production, appearing in popular shows like Better Call Saul. In August 2020, the Garcia family, famous for Albuquerque car dealerships, purchased the building for $647,500. The Haunting. The courthouse is believed to be one of the most haunted locations in New Mexico, with the basement being the hottest spot for paranormal activity. The main ghost is a little girl in a school uniform with blonde braids, said to haunt the building. Witnesses report numerous paranormal phenomena. And it has a bullet point list here. Cold spots throughout the building, lights flickering or coming on and off mysteriously, mysterious gusts of wind in enclosed spaces, an old law book that hurled itself down a hallway, taped boxes found open with contents scattered about, mysterious voices and footsteps when no one else was present. A retired court administrator who worked in the building for 25 years believed the 4th floor was haunted. Paranormal groups have investigated the site, and while the little girl is the most famous ghost, some reports also mention a woman in period dress, though this may be from a different courthouse. Okay, so confusion there. The building's history as a courthouse, with trials, a jail on the top or basement floor, and a police elevator, likely contributes to its eerie reputation. And that's where that one ends. I'm sure that, again, with jail and everything and all that entails and the process, that's a lot of energy being probably left behind in a place like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was activity there. But yeah, and I think at the end of the series I'll do a show sort of wrapping up. And this is a ways off still because we're still only in New Mexico, but sort of wrapping things up. Anyway, that's a ways off. It's weird when you're recording shows at one point in a series and then you're almost done with the research for it, and so your mind is in two different places. But the next location is High Noon Restaurant and Saloon, which is in Old Town Albuquerque, and is one of the city's oldest buildings, originally constructed as a home between 1750 and 1785. Most sources pinpoint 1785 as the build date. The adobe structure has undergone many transformations over its 300 plus years. That is a long time, at least as far as buildings in the U.S. go. It reportedly served as a gambling parlor and a brothel in the late 1800s. Later became a residence, an apartment, housed a Spanish furniture maker's retail storefront in the late 1960s, and its last tenant before the restaurant opened was a Catholic nun. The Villa family leased the building in 1972, renovated it for about 18 months, and opened High Noon in July 1974. It was the third restaurant in Old Town at the time. The restaurant remains family-run by the Villa family today and is known for Huh, that's weird. I don't know that symbol. For cut steaks, wild game, and premium tequila. The Haunting. High Noon is widely considered one of Albuquerque's most haunted locations, with staff and guests reporting numerous supernatural encounters over the decades. The lady in the white dress is the restaurant's most famous ghost. She appears in the Santos room, where guests and employees have glimpsed her ghostly figure. The Gambler, a mysterious cowboy spirit, is said to sit at the poker table locked in an eternal game, sending shivers through onlookers. Other reported entities include apparitions of Old West cowboys and saloon girls who appear and disappear like fleeting specters. Unexplained sounds echo through the halls. Ghostly laughter, faint clinking of glasses as if spirits continue reveling, and whispers of gunfights, lost fortunes, and treacherous affairs. Physical paranormal activity is frequent. Bartenders working late have witnessed glasses sliding across the bar and floating through the air. Okay, the sliding across the bar can sometimes be explained, but the floating, not so much. The women's bathroom is also allegedly haunted. Carla Villa, the owner, has never seen a ghost herself, but has heard them, witnessed things moving, felt something breathing on her neck. That's not fun. Heard whispers as she walked past, and has been told her mother had a face-to-face encounter. The Santos Room has earned a reputation as the focal point for supernatural occurrences, and many diners specifically request seating there uh, for haunting opportunities. That's fascinating. I've heard of that in hotels, but not in restaurants. The restaurant's official website even advertises Got Ghosts alongside its steaks, acknowledging its paranormal reputation. So that's where that one ends. That's fascinating. See, I've heard of hotels and places like that sort of having these areas where there's reported activity and catering, so to speak, to people that are hoping to have experiences, renting out those areas to those people. I hadn't heard of that with the restaurant, so that is really pretty amazing, actually. Moving on to the next location here. The Luna Mansion, officially the Luna Otero Mansion in Las Lunas, New Mexico. This is a historic 1880s adobe mansion on the National Register of Historic Places, famous for its well-documented ghostly activity. Built as a Southern colonial-style home with Southwestern adobe materials, it stands as the only known Victorian Southern colonial structure constructed of adobe and Terran components. Terran, T-E-R-O-N, okay. History. In 1692, Domingo de Luna received a land grant from the King of Spain for what became Las Lunas. Don Pedro Otero, probably saying that incorrectly, I apologize, arrived later under similar circumstances, and over generations, both families accumulated wealth through livestock and land, becoming politically powerful, if I could say that word right. So that's how much I don't like politics. I can't even say the word. I'm kidding. Kind of. The families merged through marriage in the late 1800s. Solomon Luna married Adelaida or Otero, and Manuel A. Otero married Eloisa Luna, creating the Luna Otero dynasty. When, excuse me, when the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad sought a right-of-way through Luna property in 1880, the proposed tracks would have run directly through the Luna hacienda. To gain passage, the railroad agreed to build a new home for Antonio Jose Luna and his family, according to their specifications. That's fascinating. The mansion was completed in 1881, but Antonio Jose died the same year. So his oldest son, wow, Tranquilino? I'm wondering if that's a mistake on the summary part here. And his family, because that seems like too much like a, but I don't know. His family became the first residents. In the early 1900s, control passed to Solomon's nephew, Eduardo Otero. During the 1920s, Eduardo's wife, Josefita Manderfield Otero, known as Pepe, oversaw major improvements: a solarium, front portico, and ironwork around the entire property. Josefita, daughter of, and apologize if I'm saying that wrong, William R. Manderfield, founder of the Santa Fe New Mexican, I'm guessing that's a publication, devoted herself to maintaining the mansion's magnificent gardens. The mansion changed hands several times over the following decades before being purchased and renovated as a fine dining restaurant in the 1970s. You can see that with it seems like a lot of big homes, at least the medium to large size homes, there's a couple different things that they get turned into. Sometimes it's bed and breakfast, sometimes it's hotels, sometimes it's apartments, sometimes it's more of a restaurant type setting. So 1970s there, so let's see here. I think I lost my spot. Okay, got it. The hauntings. Since the restaurant opened in the mid-1970s, the ghost of Josefita Pepe Otero began appearing regularly. Dressed in 1920s period clothing, she appears very real to employees and patrons. So, in other words, it's not like what you would see in Hollywood where it's a translucent or transparent apparition. And there are both in a lot of reports. There's some that you realize it's not a regular living person. Other times, apparitions appear as though they are a physical living person. So, let's see here. So it's a bullet point list here. So she appears very real to employees and patrons. She has been seen in two former second-floor bedrooms, in the attic storeroom, at the top of the stairs leading to the second-floor bar, walking up and down the main staircase, a habit so common, employees barely notice. That's fascinating. At the top of the staircase sits Josefita's antique rocking chair, where she has often been seen sitting and rocking slowly. On one occasion, when an employee approached the apparition, she stood up and slowly vanished. The chair now has a rope draped across it to discourage patrons from sitting there, as Josefita seemingly takes offense. Staff have found the chair moved and glass or lamps broken the day after someone used it. That's fascinating too. Huh. I can understand that. A second ghostly figure is Cruz, believed to be a former groundskeeper or a servant. Most often seen on the main level, Cruz is friendly to women and children, and enjoys playing pranks, practical jokes on employees and patrons. He has been seen sitting on a sofa as if waiting to be served, dressed in vintage attire. And when a waitress asked another staff member why he hadn't been served, he disappeared. Additional unexplained phenomena include doors opening and closing on their own, voices calling out names, a rocking chair that is moving without anyone in it. I'm guessing that's regarding the story that was featured a minute ago in this summary. Lights turning on by themselves. Kitchen swinging doors moving for no reason. People feeling mysterious fingers touching them. That would not be fun. In the barroom, employees and patrons have suddenly experienced goosebumps, cold chills, losing their breath, and sensing Josefita's presence. The Luna Otero mansion remains. They have an address here. You can find that online. Just west of the junction of highways 314 and 6, continuing to draw attention for both its historical significance and its active paranormal reputation. So yeah, that's fascinating. Sounds like a lot going on there. And it's fascinating as well because it doesn't sound like, it seems like so often when you hear about these mansions, because of the lifestyle, maybe I'm not sure, but or just politics or power, trying to get more money and power. There's so many tragic stories associated with these places, but this one doesn't seem to have that. It just seems to be the people that want to be there, possibly. So, again, this idea that I think it makes sense in a way. If you spent a lot of time in a place and you love it, and it's being maintained, and you're happy that it's being maintained, I wonder, and I imagine in many cases, after someone passes away, they continue to stay in a place because they like it. That's how they want to spend their afterlife, the rest of their time until, I don't know what happens. Their energy fades. I'm not sure. We only have about a minute left here, so we're not going to go through any more locations here in this episode. We'll continue on the next one, but we have another a mesa coming up next time. And let's see what else we have here coming up. The Double Eagle Restaurant, another restaurant. And let's see here. One other location, I'm pretty sure, in New Mexico. Nope, actually that's it. 2 more locations in New Mexico. And then we'll be moving on to the state of New York. So it is fascinating how you have all these buildings, people having experiences in buildings, but then there's also plenty, if you listen to this whole series so far, first of all, thank you. But if you have, then you've noticed there's all kinds of places, and some are buildings, some are indoors, and many are outdoors too. So, and yeah, thank you all for listening. Please check out the links in every episode description for friends of the show, and check out the rest of the website. Thank you all for listening, like I said just now, and I'll talk to you all next time on Salsido Paranormal. Take care.